raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. Same with
Now you talked after the Rutgers game about it's important that you learn from a situation like that. How much more important is it that you learn from a situation like that, but also win the game?
Yeah, it's a fine line. You know, they're one possession better or one possession worse. You know, you're losing that game. And, you know, give Maryland credit. I thought they were really good in the second half. You know, I think we helped them, you know, just struggling to pass and catch and make simple passes, you know, for us kind of put us in a hole. And then it just seemed like we were playing tired. You know, they got the energy all of a sudden and we didn't. But more than anything, just, you know, taking care of the basketball and giving ourselves a chance to score and giving ourselves a chance to offensive rebound. You know, they get 4 or 5 runouts. It seemed like they were just constantly getting in transition, and we had to get them to play in the half court and try to get them to earn it, which they can. They have very good players. And but no, it's, you know, each game, especially with a team where you have some younger guys that get, you know, heavy minutes. You know, you're always learning. You know, you like to learn through wins, right? So we're very fortunate we won this, but you know, we have a lot to watch and to get better. We're very, like I said earlier, like this could have went either way.
Matt, in the second half of the game, talk about the second half a little bit, and talk about how important Ethan Morton was in this game. Okay.
You know, his ability to guard different people really help us. So, like, you know, you see how Maryland goes, and you see Jameer Young and how he's just had a fabulous year. And you know, we're fortunate he missed that dunk too. And but he was getting to the rim. We had about 2 or 3 blown assignments that wasn't on Ethan in what we were doing in some of their ball screen Spain action. And you know, he just causes problems with his size and his ability to move his feet. So when he gets quickness on him, when he first got here, that was hard for him. And now he's better. It's not that like he can keep everybody in front of him, but he just has good size and he makes it hard. And you know, just gives you that guy that you can shut down. That he can guard a 4, he can guard a point, he can guard a 2 or a 3. So it just depends. Now we have him picking up the basketball and some point guards. It just depends on matchups for the team. But he just does a lot of little things to help us win.
And follow up that with sluggishness in the second half. What do you think caused that?
Yeah, it's the passing and catching. I know that's elementary and it's fundamental, but it's what it comes down to. You know, we had to make better passes out of the post. We drove the ball a couple times, you know, into crowded areas. You always got to attack into space so you have room to play. You know, we've been really good at the first 5 minutes of the second half this season, you know, across the board. We haven't been perfect, but we've been pretty good and pretty consistent there. And we just weren't. You know, you start the second half, you miss a layup, you take an out of rhythm 3, you miss another layup, you turn the basketball over, and now they're scoring. That's how runs go against you. You know, you want that flipped. You know, you want to make that layup, take a rhythm 3, don't turn the ball over. And now they stay out of transition that way because you're making better decisions. And even if you're missing shots, if you're missing quality shots, you're still normally going to set your defense. So it's just a combination of that, you know, tough shots or missed shots, you know, turnovers, and now them running out. And then they started making some shots. Obviously, they're a quality team. Jameer Young started to get going. Julian Reese was good the whole game. You know, I thought he was fabulous. He gave them that staple that they, you know, when things got tough, they could, you know, get him the basketball and he could get him a bucket.
You haven't faced much zone this season. That second half, anything schematically about that caused problems for Zach and Brady?
No, just passing and catching, like I said earlier. You know, just make good passes. You know, be ready to shoot the basketball. They take things away. You know, get the ball in. If they clamp, you know, pass the basketball out, and just keep making the simple play. You know, when people double and triple team, it's a simple game. You know, and for him, he can take on 2 to 3 people and pass over. Like, he's proven that. Tonight, he just, you know, had a couple of reads that he had, you know, just kind of miscalculated. And that's all it really comes down to. If you're handing them points while you're struggling offensively, like just execute and take what they give you.
You were bringing David in for Braden on defense late in the game. What was he giving you on the court in the last few minutes?
But just someone to stay with Carey. You know, those guys had gotten away from Braden, got away from Fletch a couple times, and just trying to get those guys to stay with, them in their action. And we went over, multiple times, and those guys were given too much, space, and so we just put David in there just to stay with Carey. And even though he didn't have a great game, he's got the ability to get loose, just like Hart, just like Scott. All those guys have the ability to get loose and make one. and so we wanted to guard the arc and not let them get threes. It just seemed like we were up 3 for, 10 minutes, and so like we're just kind of in the same one. And you don't want to really look at it that way, at 3-4 minutes because there's so much time to play. But you also, when you have a substantial lead, you don't want the psychological warfare of somebody taking the lead, right? Or even tying the game. You want to keep that lead, in which we were able to do. And I think that really helps. But no, David, makes a big 3 when he goes in. He was solid for us. And then, did a good job defensively there at the end.
You mentioned guarding the perimeter. Maryland was 3 for 21 from 3. What were you doing to make things hard on them out there?
Just trying to stay with them. Contest high, not foul 3-point shooters. About 3 weeks ago, we were like in a rut where we just kept fouling 3-point shooters. But just wanted to stay with them. We got all the respect in the world for, Akeem Hart and Dante Scott and the guys that have been there a while. So we know, even though, they might not have had a great first half, that they can get it cooking. And that's what we talked about at halftime. Let's stay with them. Let's make it hard. Let's, keep Jameer Young bottled up, which we didn't do a very good job at times in the second half, did a better job in the first half. But when you can keep him bottled up and he's penetrating, and now you can stop those lobs or those dump downs and then stay with the shooters. Now you're making those tough twos. And that's what we wanted. Even when they made some of those tough twos, don't get worried about that. Get worried about those run-out dunks they're getting, the run-out layups, getting to the free throw line, things of that nature. Those are the things that are, you have to not. But if people aren't going to make threes on you, it's going to be pretty tough. Now, with that being said, they did a pretty good job guarding us, too. We're 2 for 13 from 3. So if we could have done a little bit better job there, that's where in games you can get some separation from the arc.
Just the state of your half-court defense, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
And coming off the Minnesota game, has this
Right.
been probably one of the best stretches of the year for you guys?
Yeah, and I thought that, starting the game we were really active. I thought we had great activity on the defensive end just with our hands and, making it hard, not letting them get in those sweet spots in the post. And, they were good. Our guys were really good. Like they were flying around, they were contesting high. And, but when you play a team like Maryland, they're going to, make that run at you. And, we just weren't as sharp in the second half. And it gives us something. You're fortunate to win, right? But it gives you something now going to your next game. Like, hey, we got to clean this up. We proved that in the first half that, we can do a lot of things from a detail standpoint. But in the second half, we had slippage. And I think when you play 3 games in a week, now you got to fight that and not have that mental fatigue. And you could kind of see where we were dragging a little bit. But that's not an excuse. That's just a basketball game. Just play hard. We're not playing all day. We're just going to play for 2 hours. You just got to play hard for 2 hours. It's not an all-day deal. So, but we practiced for an hour on Friday. We did our shoot-around yesterday, so we didn't have a shoot-around today. So, we played, 2-3 days ago, but it's not like we've been, having a grueling practice the next 2 days. That's more mental than physical.
Last one, DJ.
Yeah, just the value of drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line today, especially down the stretch. Trying to mitigate some of those mistakes, especially for a guy like Braden who gets all of his points from the foul line down the stretch.
Yeah, we double up their free throws, but they fouled intentionally at least twice, right? So there's 4 right there. So it's not, especially with Zach. Zach drew 7 fouls. So trying. Obviously, we've had a big free throw disparity. I think we're number 1 in the country in that area. But he's hard to guard. For every time they call something, there's 7 fouls. I guarantee I can go grab 7 from film that didn't get called. And so when they start to bridge him, you can't be on the floor 3 or 4 times during one. You think he wants to be on the floor? You think you're 290 pounds and you're just going to drop to the floor? But they will call it, and they started to call, and then they stopped. So I got to watch film and kind of. It gets frustrating for him. It gets really frustrating for Zach with that. He's like a piñata out there. You guys been to a party yet lately where there's a piñata? They really hit him, and they hit him really hard, and the candy comes out. I don't think there's any candy inside Zach. But it gets old. It really does. As a coach, you don't want to, complain. Play the game, move on. But I feel for him. Because I'm not, I'm somebody that it's going to have to get extreme before I get upset about stuff. And it's just I think we're past that. They got to be able to. They did a great job, and then they just get away from it. You can't hit. You got to protect the shooter. You can't hit a guy when he shoots a 3, right? Well, when he shoots a jump hook, you can't hit him either. And so it's just like, you're just not getting calls because you're 7'4", 290. I just don't understand it. They just have to be consistent and call the same thing throughout the game. But we spend more time trying to calm him down than anything, because you don't want him to retaliate and then foul, and now he's in foul trouble. So it's an ongoing process trying to get things for him to make sense of it, because to him, when he gets fouled, and they don't ever call it, but you look at it and say, we got fouled 7 times. Look, foul's drawn. But like, did he really only get fouled 7 times? So, but you're a good player when you have an average game and you get 24 and 16. Like it's a pretty, because he was just okay today. He was just okay. So we got to get it to where we're playing through that. If they're not going to call it, we got to be able to play through it better. So, all right, thanks.
Thank you.